The status. He got helicopter. Ball is loose. Badgers have it. Here comes Starks at the 20, at the 10, at the 5. Touchdown, Wisconsin.
Play fake. Clausen back. Steps up. Caught.
Oh, boy.
Intercepted. Picked off by Goolsby. And he will score.
Looking to pass. And he is picked off. What a football player Antrell Roll is. All it takes is a good hit, and the hits just keep coming.
The hits of the year. It is time now to present the Bednarik Award, which goes to the nation's top defensive player. And to help us present the award tonight, we have a former teammate with the Philadelphia Eagles of Chuck Bednarik and a great member of the pantheon of the Oklahoma Sooners, Tommy McDonald. Hey, if you guys out there, if some of you guys think you've had success in your college careers, this guy's team's undefeated in his 3 years. Never lost a game in 3 years in Norman, huh?
Never. I went all through college and never lost a game. And this is what Oklahoma helped me win a championship in 1960 against the Green Bay Packers. And here's the Hall of Fame that they helped get me in the Hall of Fame.
You keep those on every day?
Yes.
Okay.
No. Are you kidding?
We got 5 Sooners here tonight. Give me a Boomer Sooner, Tommy.
Boomer Sooner!
This guy was the best football player in 1956. I'll tell you that much. And there was a kind of a split vote situation. You should have won the Heisman. But anyway, I know you're here to honor Chuck, a guy that you call what?
Concrete Charlie, old number 60. He tattooed a lot of people with the number 60 on.
Did he hit you in practice?
Oh, are you kidding? I wouldn't be standing here now.
That's how it works. Let's take a look at the nominees for the 2004 Bednarik.
Very impressive to me.
Well, also, just doing it with all the new personnel that he had to work with this year. Obviously, a tremendous year. The other 2 finalists, if you think about it, in my opinion, I think they formed the most balanced big play offense in all of college football. If you load up to stop Adrian Peterson, Jason White's going to go over the top. If you sit back and you try to stop Jason White, Adrian Peterson can run the football. Let's take one last look at our 3 finalists for the Maxwell.
Ladies and gentlemen, here to honor the 2004 Maxwell Award winner, our 1956 Maxwell Award winner, Tommy McDonald, 1976 winner, Tony Dorsett, 1980 winner, Hugh Green, and 1996 winner, Danny Warfel. And to present the Maxwell Award, Mr. Vince Dooley.
One of the reasons that I was able to receive the Contributions to College Football Award here this evening is because I was always surrounded by truly great players. So let me just say that it is a true privilege to be standing on stage with some of the finest talent in the history of college football. All of the athletes in this room have contributed to the great tradition of college football. However, 3 young men stand tall above all others with their brilliant play. Therefore, it gives me great pleasure to present the 68th Annual Maxwell Award to the most outstanding college football player in America, Jason White from Oklahoma.
Jason White is the first Oklahoma player to win the Maxwell Award since Tommy McDonald in 1956.
Tommy, get over there and give him a hug. First Sooner since 1956. We got to get these 2 guys together, huh? You okay, Jason?
Yeah, I'm good.
Take the wind out of you? Okay. You see these guys, you see these legends, and what you've accomplished in the last couple of years, just a guy from Tuttle, Oklahoma, trying to overcome some busted up knees. I mean, when does it sink in that, I mean, you're a part of this? You're a part of this history of this great sport?
I don't think it has sank in. Just being a part of that, being part of their fraternities is a great feeling. But, you know, I can't take all the credit. I got to give my credit to my teammates and my coaches and my family.
This is the ultimate team sport. Hope you got a heck of a trophy case or maybe an annex to the house somewhere in Oklahoma.
I think, you know, we have to do something. I don't know.
Now, your daughter is, what, 2 years old, so it's probably past her bedtime. But is she getting old enough to comprehend kind of what Dad does with his time and what trophies like this and awards mean?
She's starting to understand a little bit, but anytime there's a football game on TV, it's Daddy, no matter who's there. Anytime she sees a trophy, it's Daddy. So she's starting to understand a little bit.
It seems like Daddy's got another one here. It's a beautiful one. You're getting set to go back to New York, Downtown Athletic Club, and as a past Heisman winner, of course, for this weekend celebration. What will it mean walking back in that place and seeing so many of the former winners that a club you already belong to?
It'll be great. It'll be great for me. Just, you know, I can enjoy this a little bit more this year because I actually know what's going on. You know, I'm a part of their fraternity, and, you know, it's going to be great. I enjoyed it a lot more this year than I did last.
You're the only candidate that has a ballot. You want to say who you voted for? I'll put you on the spot here.
No, that's all right.
I didn't think so. I don't blame you. That's smart quarterback decision-making. Jason Wyatt, winner of the 2004 Maxwell Award. We'll be back to wrap things up right after this, folks. Thank you.
Peterson, he would not be denied.
Liner's going to throw on the slant. Caught, touchdown.
It's a huge run by Alex Smith. Touchdown, Oklahoma. Great pass by White.
All the way, Reggie Bush.
Well, the big city has embraced a small-town Texas kid who's played exactly 12 games of football at Oklahoma. It seems everybody in New York wants to see Adrian Peterson, get a look at him, get his autograph. The freshman phenom for the Sooners has had one of the most successful rookie campaigns in college football history. He runs like a man, but really has the personality of a little kid. Teammates say he's all smiles, really loves to play the football game. However, off the field, family tragedy and tough times forced him to grow up in a hurry. Steve Cyphers has the story.
They call him AD, a nickname his dad tagged him with when he was 7 years old. AD, all day. That's how the kid could run. That's how his father taught him.
He always told me, you know, when you go out there, you know, leave no doubt, you know, that you play, you play at your hardest and you left everything on the field.
He would not be denied. He would not be denied.
Where it comes from, I don't know, but I tell you, he's got a determination about him when he gets a football unlike any kid I've ever seen.
As his high school coach in Palestine, Texas, Jeff Harrell marveled at Adrian Peterson. Now he's Bob Stoops' freshman phenom.
What a run by Peterson.
1,000 yards in his first 7 games. Heisman Trophy good. 19 and showered with attention, seemingly all day.
The only concern I have about it is that it doesn't overwhelm Adrian, that he's allowed to be a young man to grow in it, to enjoy his college experience, and not allow everybody else to take a piece of it and nothing's left for him.
Too much has been taken already. When Adrian was 7, his older brother Brian was hit by a car and killed while riding his bike.
It's like, you know, when that situation occurred, you know, it's like, you know, things was just going downhill. And, you know, a lot of times I feel like, you know, giving up.
That was a very trying time for him. He was just young, and it was like a part of him that was there always wasn't there anymore. So it's like a big part of him just left.
His father left 6 years later. Convicted of laundering drug money, Nelson Peterson was sentenced to 9 years at the Federal Correctional Institute in Texarkana in August 1998.
We went to games together, we went to movies together, we took AAU basketball trips together. We did everything together. So when I left Adrian and came and got incarcerated, that was a major, major blow to him. It was like a piece of his heart was taken from him and was just thrown away.
My dad was a wonderful person, and he always, you know, he raised me to, you know, to always do the right things. You know, it's a situation that he got caught up in, and now he just, you know, paying the time. So, you know, that don't make him a bad person.
Even though I'm incarcerated, I still have to be a father. I still have responsibility out there. So we haven't maintained a close relationship.
But from a distance. Poor grades kept Adrian off the varsity football team his sophomore year in high school. But his parents kept pushing, coaxing, demanding better. From prison, Nelson offered encouragement on the back of a treasured photograph. At home, Benita, now married to Frank Jackson with children of their own, worked at and prayed for a turnaround.
And all of us bear the responsibility of raising Adrian, and I think that's something that had to be worked through also. You know, it's kind of hard for three people to be parents, you know, because, you know, one wants to do this and one wants to do that.
By the end of his sophomore year, AD got the message.
His grades came up. He began to be on the A&B honor roll, which was, you know, a big hype for him, you know, and he even came back and said, Mama, you said, you know, that I could do anything if I put my mind to doing it. It's just all in doing it.
You know, she kept me going. You know, I always told me, you know, put God first and everything else fall in place.
This kid is special.
Oh, he is.
Overcoming the odds and outrunning fate, Adrian hasn't let go of his loss. He's clenched it in his fist, in his heart, holding on to his father and his brother, Brian.
I feel like, you know, I'm tired. I'll be like, just feel like stopping or giving up. I just, you know, think about him, you know, my dad, and just little thing like that, you know, that motivates me to keep doing what I'm doing.
Peterson, kind of a quiet guy, but he has an aura. He has kind of a star quality about him. It takes a lot, guys, to impress the Oklahoma Sooners in terms of athletic ability, but from the very first day, Peterson blew him away.
We talk about impressing me. You know, first time I saw him was at Oklahoma State. He ran the ball 3 times, and I said, Oklahoma has recruited a guy from the planet Mars. This guy can't be from Earth. He's big, he's quick. He went 80 yards, left everybody, ran over people. I said, holy mackerel, if this guy doesn't get hurt, he could be the greatest running back in the history of college football. He's that good.
And the thing that, not only that, we saw him against Oklahoma State, Lee. We watched him. The thing that stood out is he has that rare combination, the power and the speed to go with it, which separates all the good backs. But talking to some of the Oklahoma coaches and some of the players that are veteran players on this team, this is a team that competes for a national championship every year. And to hear how they embraced him from day one and respected him from day one, that, I think, is very rare and very unique for anybody as a true freshman.
Now, the opposite story of Peterson is Alex Smith, the finalist here from Utah, basically unrecruited out of high school, almost transferred from Utah. I mean, his was an amazing story to get here with the production he's had, quarterback of an undefeated team.
Oklahoma's Adrian Peterson became the first freshman in Division I history to rush for 100 yards in 11 games. The only other player in Division I to ever accomplish that feat, current Chicago Bear Adrian Peterson of Division I AA Georgia Southern in 1998. And despite the defenses who would love to see him turn pro, Oklahoma's Adrian Peterson will be back next year. As for underclassmen with NFL impact potential right now, here's Mel Kiper.
Every year, underclassmen play a key role in round 1 of the NFL draft. You can usually count on nearly half of the first round made up
through this door.
They have walked together and won together at Oklahoma. 6th-year senior and teenage freshman Jason White and Adrian Peterson. They're on a collision course with a tandem of Trojans, Matt Leinart and Reggie Bush. Close buddies, complementary parts, but contenders tonight for an honor only one can win. And carrying the flag for unbeaten Utah, Alex Trophy was handed off to the Nebraska running back. This year, an unprecedented pair of teammate tandems made the trip to the city. And one thing is certain, whoever ascends the podium tonight will remind us that he couldn't have done it without his team.
2003 winner of the 69th Heisman Memorial Trophy, Jason White, Oklahoma.
And so began the journey of Jason White's Heisman Trophy. First stop, Newark Airport.
It went through, and then he's like, what's in the box? And I said, the Heisman Trophy. And he goes, yeah, right.
He unlocked it and opened it up, and the guy's jaw just dropped. He didn't know what to say.
They made me check it, and then on top of checking it, they made me pay $75.
Then it was on to Norman for a few weeks.
I wanted to bring it back to show some of the guys on the team.
Then a hero's welcome back home in Tuttle, Oklahoma.
I decided to just take it home with my parents. We just kind of set it by the fireplace because it looked like a place that could go.
We're kind of proud of it. I'd like everybody to see it.
And what if he's got a second Heisman when tonight is over?
We're going to have to think seriously about putting another room on.
Well, it's not named for him, but the Great White Way is just a couple blocks away from here. And Jason, by the way, he's told us that if voters have written a sequel to his Heisman story, he's got the $75 ready for the excess baggage charge on the way home. I am told, by the way, there is a second water tower near Tuttle, Oklahoma that's got some room on the side for another congratulations. You know, Jason's journey to the Heisman last season really began with very simple goals, just to play through his season without ripping a knee up and prove that he wasn't the weak link on a powerful team. 24 wins and 73 touchdowns later, his place in the Sooner Pantheon is secure, I think. But to the perfectionist in him, there's still 1 point left to prove that he can lead his team to the ultimate triumph.
Jason White, University of Oklahoma.
6 years, 3 surgeries, 1 Heisman, and still hungry. The Tuttle tough guy's work ethic and passion for improvement still amaze teammates.
Lobs it past the end zone. Touchdown, Oklahoma!
Devastating precision and accuracy are now taken for granted, but White's rebuilt wheels and regained mobility added flexibility to the Sooner assault. Essential this year, new poise, under-the-gun game management defined in 4-quarter fights on the road. Jason's signature, a scrambling, game-winning TD pass at Texas A&M to silence the roar and save the season.
Steps up in the pocket, throws down the middle, right at the 15, to the 10, to the 5, touchdown Oklahoma!
How clutch was White? He completed 62% of his passes for almost 1,100 yards on 3rd downs for 11 of his 33 touchdown passes and only 1 pick way back in the opener. No wonder OU was #1, converting 55% of 3rd downs. More great 3rd down play in the championship game. What do you think, Archie? You want that club all to yourself? You want to welcome in a new guy tonight? He says he's welcome to join if he gets the vote tonight. You know, Jason is a wise, old, 24-year-old father of a 2-year-old daughter, Tinley, but he has kind of a well-hidden, feisty side, Kirk, that he shows to very few people.
Well, we've seen that on the football field the last couple years. Jason, you win the Heisman Trophy last year. You have another year to come back, a 6th year to come back for this year. Some guys would say, you know what, I won the Heisman Trophy, that's enough, that's it. Why did you decide to come back this year?
Well, for the obvious, you know, the last 2 games of the season, something that was on my goal list from the start of the season, and we didn't get them, so it's a great opportunity for me to come back and play in the last 2 games.
Let's talk about that. Last year, you win the Heisman Trophy. You guys stumble against Kansas State and then against LSU. You didn't play particularly well for yourself. You came into this year, and a lot of these magazines and the preseason hype had you and another quarterback in your own conference as all-conference quarterbacks. Forget about All-American. How'd that make you feel after winning the Heisman last year?
It made me feel good. You know, that's the same thing they did to me when I hurt both my knees. They told me I couldn't come back. So coaches told me that they had recruited past me, and you know, that drives me. And when I seen that at the Big 12 Media Conference, it just made me want to work harder to get better.
From your viewpoint, how did Adrian Peterson's emergence this year as a true freshman help you as a quarterback in the Sooners offense?
He's a big threat guy right behind you. As soon as he gets the ball, he can go 80 real quick, and a lot of defenses have to respect that, and a lot of defenses want to be stingy and stop the run, so that's going to open up the pass game.
Last thing for you, one of the perks of winning the Heisman and having another year is you have a vote. How did you handle that responsibility this year? Come on now.
I decided, I ain't going to say who I voted for, but you know, everyone up there is well-deserving of it, and you know, I left myself off there just in the fact that you know, I don't think that I'm the greatest player out there. I think there's other guys up there that are better than me, so they deserve to vote.
Well, we all think you're a great player. You've been phenomenal the last couple of years, and you have a lot of class to admit that and to step up and do the right thing. Congratulations. Good luck in your bowl game.
Thank you.
All right, Chris.
A lot of class and a lot of strength. One final thought on Jason's strength. His best game of the season came following the death and the funeral of his grandfather, George, the first close relative that he lost. Jason traveled to St. Louis, came back, and threw 5 touchdown passes in that great rally at Texas A&M. Speaking of strong, Adrian Peterson, Jason mentioned it, one reason why Jason's stats were better this year than last year was the arrival of the great freshman running back. And by the way, when Jason got to OU, Adrian Peterson was in 8th grade. Peterson was a prep legend in Palestine, Texas, but none of his Sooner teammates were prepared for a guy who walks on campus, throws down his luggage, runs a legit 4.40, vertical jumps 39 inches at 6'2", 210. And when the season unfolded, the nation began to take notice, and the legends stopped to watch as well. When you talk about Sims and Dorsett and Walker stopping to notice a freshman, you know that you're perhaps dealing with a once-per-generation newcomer.
Adrian Peterson, University of Oklahoma.
So big, so strong, so fast, so young. As a freshman freak of nature, Peterson possesses a breathtaking blend of gifts. From a deep I formation, he attacks the hole with power to punish tacklers and speed to escape them. He pounds away, defenders dreading each carry, a potential touchdown.
Peterson, left side, hit behind the line, five still going, and he's in for a touchdown. He would not be denied.
Tough times made him grow up quickly, but his boyish side bursts through on the field, where his wide smiles reveal a passion for playing. Peterson's rushing total is 20 yards short of Ron Dane's freshman record. Almost 3/4 of them came after contact with would-be tacklers. His best came against OU's biggest rivals, and he averaged almost 200 a game against ranked opponents.
1,100-yard games is also a freshman record. We get the feeling there's a few more records to come here. But Peterson's path would have taken a far different turn, like far too many others, if not for some desperate parental guidance had ignited the inner drive within him.
His father nicknamed him AD, all day. That's how he taught his son Adrian to run and to live all day. Their bond was strong, as were the father's lessons. And in 1998, when Nelson Peterson was convicted of laundering drug money and sentenced to 9 years in prison, Adrian was crushed.
We did everything together. So when I left Adrian and came and got incarcerated, that was a major, major blow to him. It was like a piece of his heart was taken from him and was just thrown away.
My dad was a wonderful person, and he always, he raised me. He raised me to, to always do the right things. It was a situation that he got caught up in, and now he just, paying the time. So, that don't make him a bad person.
But Adrian did start to lose direction after his father's sentencing. Poor grades kept him off his high school football team his sophomore year. Both his father and mother, Benita, kept pushing. From prison, Nelson sent encouragement on the back of a treasured photograph. Their prodding worked, and Adrian turned it around.
He began to be on the A&B honor roll, which was, a big hype for him, and he even came back and said, Mama, you said, that I could do anything if I put my mind to doing it. It's just all in doing it.
Overcoming his father's absence, stabilized by his presence, Adrian Peterson has integrated the best of his parents' lessons, and his best days are in front of him and his family.
And Nelson hopes and expects to watch his son play in person before AD's Oklahoma career is over. Adrian told us that his dad is proud, but not all that impressed or carried away. He says there's still one more big game to go this season, so calm down. He sounds like a coach, Holly.
Well, thanks, Chris. We have to say, Benita, his mom, is not able to be here. She's at home expecting a baby. She couldn't travel, so his brother Eldon is here with Adrian. And Eldon, he's known as such a hard worker. Where do you think he got that work ethic from?
Well, I think it's all started off when he was probably about 9 or 10 years old. My father used to take me every day during the summer to work out, and while I was working out, Adrian was right along with me, and I believe during that time, that's where he developed his passion for his hard work.
Adrian, we saw that letter that you got from your dad that said time is running out. How did you take that?
I don't know. I just try to use it in the best way I could, to keep me motivated, and just strive and just go out there and get things done, so.
What drives you now?
Well, when I'm out there and I get tired, or I just feel like just laying it down, I just think about my dad and all the hard work, I did when he was out, and my brother passed away when I was 7. So, just little things like that keep me motivated, keep me driving, give me the extra year to, finish.
Your dad said he's not all that impressed with what you've done. What do you have to do now to impress your dad?
I don't know, we got the big game on for us, so we'll see what we have to say after that game.
All right, thanks very much. Let's check in with Lee Corso, and he is with Bob Stoops.
Holly, I'm with Coach Bobby Stoops. Bobby, have you ever seen a freshman like Adrian Peterson?
No, I haven't, to be quite honest with you. Nothing even close.
Yeah.
And what makes him so special is not just his physical ability, his toughness is really special.
What expectations did you have for Adrian when you recruited him from the state of Texas?
We figured he was going to be awfully good, but when you get around a young man, you see a lot of talented young guys as freshmen, and Adrian we knew was awfully talented. What you didn't know until you're working with him is his work ethic and his toughness, and that's what really separates him, you know, with his talent is really special and fun to coach.
Bobby, great job so far. Bobby Stoops has been a head football coach for 6 years. He's playing in his third national championship this year. What a record.
You know, Lee, in those 6 years, they've had 6 Heisman top 10 finishers. Before he got there, there'd been exactly one guy in almost 20 years, the Boz. There'd been a 13-year drought, so he's certainly turned it around. You know, if Peterson wins tonight or even finishes second, it's historic. Third is the best finish so far in the Heisman for a freshman, Michael Vick, Herschel Walker, and the pioneer for rookie candidates 62 years ago.
The first to blaze.
Norman, a freshman running back, takes the nation by storm. And the Auburn Tigers have ridden the Cadillac and a great defense to an unbeaten season. Will the polls be split again? Cal was sent from Roses to the Holiday Bowl, sending Texas to face off against Michigan in Pasadena. The surprising Utah Utes steamrolled everyone in their path and want to prove they're worthy of their BCS standing. 28 bowl games in 22 days. We'll preview all the big ones and tell you what to look for in the 2004 College Football Bowl Preview Show. Next. Oklahoma, remember, they lost their last 2 games last year in the championship game of the Big 12, then in the national championship game. They were set to prove that was a mistake, and they go undefeated.
Well, you're right. They were set to kind of prove the naysayers wrong, that they didn't deserve to play last year, and this, that, and the
In Norman, a freshman running back takes the nation by storm. And the Auburn Tigers have ridden the Cadillac and a great defense to an unbeaten season. Will the polls be split again? Cal was sent from Roses to the Holiday Bowl, sending Texas to face off against Michigan in Pasadena. The surprising Utah Utes steamrolled everyone in their path and want to prove they're worthy of their BCS standing. 28 bowl games in 22 days. We'll preview all the big ones and tell you what to look for in the 2004 College Football Bowl Preview Show. Next. Oklahoma, remember, they lost their last 2 games last year in the championship game of the Big 12, then in the national championship game. They were set to prove that was a mistake, and they go undefeated.
Well, you're right. They were set to kind of prove the naysayers wrong, that they didn't deserve to play last year, and this, that, and the other. This year they went out, they wiped the slate clean, took care of business, won the Big 12 championship game, and now they sit ready to play USC.
And that'll be in the FedEx Orange Bowl for the national championship. Now, Auburn, this is a team no one expected. They started the season ranked 18, and I think that was based on last year when they stumbled getting out of the gate. As a result, they're number 3, but another undefeated season for Auburn. USC against Oklahoma. The intriguing thing about this game, the quarterbacks. You cannot get more marquee than Matt Leinart and Jason White.
Well, when you look at it, I mean, you set it up, both phenomenal seasons, both clearly the leaders of their football team, both been in the media for the last couple of years. I mean, it is the matchup in college football right now in this football game.
We'll talk more about those individuals, but the Sooners are back and they're hungry. Do they have enough to upset the Trojans? For a look, let's go down to Mark Rogers.
The offseason brought changes, a more physical approach. While Jason White threw over defenses with the greatest of ease 1 year ago, the ground game suffered. But that all changed the first Wednesday in February. Freshman running back Adrian Peterson didn't wait to make his presence felt, running wild against Bowling Green, then Oregon, and finally putting a 225-yard brand on the hide of the Texas Longhorns. Mission accomplished on a more physical football team. one much more suited to bring home the national championship.
Well, last year we were kind of one-dimensional, kind of finesse team, and this year, we'll put our heads down and run over people.
We're a tough group, across the front, and that just came in maturity from last year. We're older and we're stronger, so you just got to give Adrian, a little bit of time, and hey, he can take it to the house.
The passing attack is still there. Jason White is connected for 33 touchdowns, throwing to the likes of the relentless Mark Clayton and the game-breaking Mark Bradley. And he's had the peace of mind to operate behind an offensive line with more than 130 career starts, one that includes Outland Trophy winner Jamal Brown. Across the ball, the Sooners' defense has been galvanized by the return of injured cornerback Antonio Perkins. With Perkins and true freshman Marcus Walker at the other corner, OU has given up just 2 fourth-quarter field goals in the last 3 games against Nebraska, Baylor, and Colorado. Defensive ends Dan Cody, Jonathan Jackson, and Larry Burdine will bring pressure from the edge on the pocket-passing Matt Leinart, in the process trying to relieve the pressure on a secondary that showed some vulnerability against Oklahoma State and Texas A&M. Oklahoma celebrated its last 3 national titles in Miami after Orange Bowl victories and would like nothing more than to continue that string against USC.
Andre, I know there's been a lot of controversy over Auburn not being in the championship game, but disappointing for Auburn and for their players. This is the game a lot of people wanted to see. Oklahoma lost their last 2 games last year. People said they didn't belong in the championship game after losing to Kansas State. And USC only got a share of the championship because they didn't get to play in the BCS championship game.
Well, Oklahoma's back is disappointing last year, the way they kind of limped into that title game. USC basically having to share it with LSU. So now you bring both teams together, boy, it should make for an inch, like 2 trains crashing in the night.
The BCS championship has more individual star power than any other bowl game. In fact, 4 of the 5 Heisman finalists, 2 from each team, will be showcased in the Orange Bowl. We caught up with the Heisman winner, USC quarterback Matt Leinart.
Hi, I'm Matt Leinart, 2004 Heisman Trophy winner. Just to be able to bring it back to USC and represent the school so well, and just like Mike Garrett, OJ, Marcus, Charles, and Carson, and myself now, it's just a great honor. It means a lot. It just kind of shows all the hard work that I've done over the years.
Let's go, Chargers on 3. 1, 2, 3. Chargers!
And I was more of a leader this year. Obviously, we lost a lot of senior veterans last year, and this year I was kind of, my role was to really be the leader of this team and for guys to follow me. Well, Pete Carroll's been very instrumental in the way I've developed, just as learning about stuff on and off the field, and really kind of a guy I could come and talk to about anything. And Coach Chow has developed me as a quarterback, I mean, from day one, and I've come a long way since I first stepped on campus.
Cobb with an empty backfield, back to pass, he's sacked.
They're a very experienced group, and big and fast, and it's going to be a challenge for us. I think if we have a good game plan and we prepare well, I think we'll be fine. Our defense is one of the best defenses in the country. They have been the last couple of years, and it's going to be hard to stop a potent, balanced attack like they have, but I think we're capable of it. We have to keep our defense off the field as long as possible, and I think if we have some drives and convert 3rd downs and keep the ball in their hands, I think we'll be fine.
Now taking the field, we're USC Trojans.
So it's got the makings to be one of the greatest games ever in college football, and there's a lot of hype, and we're aware of that. But it's another game when that whistle blows, and it's going to be a great atmosphere and 2 great teams going head-to-head.
Touchdown!
And last year we had kind of a piece of it, but this year we're in the big game and fighting for that crystal ball. So it'll mean a lot, and just kind of mean a lot to the team, just because we've had a lot of adversity this year, and we've shown what type of team we are to battle through tough games. I've won a lot in my 2 years here as a starter, and I just want to keep winning, and to be known as the guy who played through anything and won a lot of national championships.
This team is the best. They deserve to be #1 until they're knocked off.
Well, you know, USC, they're not a fast-starting football team. They kind of just feel you out at the beginning of the game, and you know, you may even lead them at some point early in the football game. But all of a sudden, it's like an avalanche. Here they come, and once they get it going, it's Matt Leinart. He gets a hot hand, and I mean, it is magical to watch.
Andre, let's talk about these two coaches because they're polar opposites. Bob Stoops is intense. Right. He wants it his way, all that way. Well, Pete Carroll seems to always be in a good mood, just enjoying the college game. Two different approaches, both successful.
Well, you're absolutely right. You talk about a guy that really likes his team, emotional at the beginning of a football game or throughout the game. That's Bob Stoops. Pete Carroll, more the calm, soothing type coach that wants you relaxed throughout the game. That's his. But you mentioned it, both two different styles, but effective nonetheless.
I think there are very few teams in the country that have a player that played running back, wide receiver, and kicks back. But Reggie Bush does it, and every time he touches the ball, there's a good shot that it might be a touchdown.
You know, USC, they're clearly not where they are if Reggie Bush isn't in the lineup somewhere. I mean, he's just, you talk about it, can line him up at 3 different positions. He can throw the football for him if they need that as well. So, I mean, it just, all the trickery, all that, Norm Chow, their offensive coordinator, does a fabulous job of utilizing the talent on that offensive unit.
There are some people that think that Oklahoma might have won the national championship last year except for one thing. They were one-dimensional, throwing the ball around. Adrian Peterson comes in, the freshman running back, almost 2,000 yards on the ground. He would have had 2,000 yards if he didn't get hurt in one game.
Well, he's clearly made the difference for their football team. Anytime you can turn around and hand it to a runner, and he just basically can take over the football game. I think that's the fastest way to turn a football team around. A lot of people say it's the quarterback. No, it's that guy back there, because you don't have to be perfect for Adrian Peterson to really slash you and gas you. He's been magical, more yards than any freshman in NCAA history. He's a fabulous talent to watch.
Defensively, who has an advantage in this game?
Well, I got to like Oklahoma in this football game. They're aggressive. They're going to put tremendous pressure. They have the athletes to run with USC to match up in man-to-man coverages so that they can bring more pressure on Matt Leinart. So I like Oklahoma defensively, and it favors them.
That's an inside look at the BCS championship game. When we come back, what everyone has been waiting for, it's the FedEx Orange Bowl for the national championship, USC against Oklahoma. In this one, it's obviously a very difficult one to pull the matchup on. You look at the seniors, the 5th-year seniors on Oklahoma. This is the 3rd national championship game they have been in. Well, on the other side, USC thought they should have been in this game last year. And because they play in the Pac-10, I don't think people realize just how good this team is. And Reggie Bush, I think, is a difference maker in this game. I see USC winning it 27-14.
Well, I'm disagreeing once again. I think when you look at Oklahoma, you talk about the experience of being in this football game. I think USC, when they go into football games, we talked about, you agreed with me earlier, that they start slow. Guess what? They're going to start slow against a good football team, and they'll never be able to catch up. I like Oklahoma in this game, 30-24, just too much for USC.
High-scoring game like that.
Oh, yeah. Be some points scored in this one.
Well, we hope you've enjoyed our inside look at this year's bowl season. Before we leave you, I would like to congratulate my good friend here and partner.
Oklahoma head football coach Bob Stoops is drawing eerie similarities between this year's Sooners and his 2000 national championship team. Stoops cites the same exact conference home and road schedules for both teams. Come from behind victories at Texas A&M and tight games at Oklahoma State. Big 12 title wins in Kansas City, followed by BCS championship berths in the Orange Bowl. But Tom Rinaldi did discover one difference for Oklahoma this time around.
For the 3rd time in 5 years, the Sooners began practice for a national championship game. For seemingly the first time, they did not have to answer BCS questions.
Yeah, you were asking me them all last year, so don't think I didn't forget. I don't know that it'll ever be perfect, and so the BCS is still better than all of us being in 3 different bowl games.
It's a lot easier. You don't have to answer the questions of why. Why do you guys think you should be here? Or what happened in the last game. This year's just kind of took care of business. You should be here.
Teams dealing with BCS controversy have not dealt well come game time. Last year, Oklahoma lost in the Sugar Bowl. 2002, Nebraska lost in the Rose Bowl. 2001, Florida State beaten in the Orange Bowl. The common thread? Questions about whether those teams deserve the chance.
You get asked so many questions so many times, you start wondering, you want to come up with good answers. And, you know, it wears on you. It shouldn't, but it'll wear on anybody.
It's a lot better than having to answer them, but, you know, that just comes along with, you know, being a, number 2 team in the country. People always want to speculate a reason why or why, you know, should or should not be there, but, you know, you have faith in your teammates and don't worry about the rest of it.
Oklahoma has won 7 national titles, the last, the 2001 Orange Bowl. Should they win come January 4th, they'd be the first school to win 2 titles under the BCS, a system which seems to suit the Sooners just fine. In Miami with Oklahoma, Tom Rinaldi, ESPN.
Thank you, Tom. This isn't the first time Oklahoma and USC have met under these circumstances. Back in 1981, second-ranked Oklahoma faced number 1 USC. That game at the LA Coliseum, Trojans escaped with a win in the final seconds, 28-24.
Oklahoma finished their second Orange Bowl practice 4 hours before USC even touched down in South Florida. Trojans will work out Wednesday before attending a beach party. The distractions are even. The experience of dealing with them is not. Sooners have played in more Orange Bowls than anyone else. They're staying in the same hotel, training in the same location, and essentially following the same schedule as they did the last time they visited when they won the national title. We have reports on both schools, beginning with Tom Rinaldi.
For the 3rd time in 5 years, the Sooners began practice for a national championship game. For seemingly the first time, they did not have to answer BCS questions.
Yeah, you were asking me them all last year, so don't think I didn't forget. I don't know that it'll ever be perfect, and so the BCS is still better than all of us being in 3 different bowl games.
It's a lot easier. You don't have to answer the questions of why. Why do you guys think you should be here? Or what happened in the last game. This year's just kind of took care of business. You should be here.
Teams dealing with BCS controversy have not dealt well come game time. Last year, Oklahoma lost in the Sugar Bowl. 2002, Nebraska lost in the Rose Bowl. 2001, Florida State beaten in the Orange Bowl. The common thread? Questions about whether those teams deserve the chance.
You get asked so many questions so many times, you start wondering, you want to come up with good answers. And, you know, it wears on you. It shouldn't, but it'll wear on anybody.
It's a lot better than having to answer them, but, you know, that just comes along with, you know, being a, number 2 team in the country. People always want to speculate a reason why or why, you know, should or should not be there, but, you know, you have faith in your teammates and don't worry about the rest of it.
Oklahoma has won 7 national titles, the last, the 2001 Orange Bowl. Should they win come January 4th, the Sooners would be the first school to win multiple titles under the BCS, a system which seems to suit them just fine. Now for news with USC, here's Steve Cyphers.
52 minutes later than scheduled, the Trojans arrived by charter in Fort Lauderdale. Unlike their considerably experienced Orange Bowl opponents, Oklahoma Sooners, who are making their 18th Orange Bowl appearance, USC is making its 2nd. 2 years ago, the Trojans buried Iowa 38-17.
Well, I think it should help. You know, we're going to be very familiar with all of the logistics and all of that. The preparation, you know, for a big game is always new, but there's a lot of new kids. You know, it's been a couple years, but we'll feel very familiar going to Nova and working out there and staying at the hotel and all of that. So we hopefully that will help us stay focused.
Nova is Nova University, where the Trojans begin practice Wednesday. There, Coach Pete Carroll and company will keep a close eye on 2 players, a key running back and a defensive end, still trying to overcome injuries.
We got a couple guys we're concerned about, Lendell White on offense and Manuel Wright on defense. Those are the 2 guys that have not been able to go full speed yet. We're looking forward to them practicing tomorrow and making their comeback.
This marks the 4th time USC comes to a bowl game with a #1 ranking and a national title on the line. In each of the previous 3, the Trojans have left with a victory and a championship. In Fort Lauderdale, Steve Cyphers, ESPN.
All right, guys, thank you. This is not to say that USC never loses, but the Trojans have won 21 straight, 2nd longest winning streak in school history. Matt Leinart, the Heisman Trophy winner, he's every other kind of winner. How about 24-1 as a starter during the winning streak? He's thrown 58 touchdowns, just 9 picks. Nice ratio. And talk about weapons. Reggie Bush and Lendell White have combined for 52 touchdowns over the last 25 games.